Okay, we're live. We're live. Hello, guys. Hello, friends. So, we gotta wait for people to show up here. In the meantime, we'll talk about the main topic here, which is actually the subject of my last video, which I don't think was received very well. So, not necessarily received in a the video was bad kind of way, but obviously people were not interested in it, and there were like 40% less clicks. So I asked you this question at the last broadcast, and everyone seemed interested in it, but apparently that's not a global opinion. So we'll talk about that a little bit. How you doing, guys? You guys having adult beverages on a Thursday night? Should have some adult beverages. I did have some adult beverages. You know, back in the day, I used to broadcast on Fridays, but it's so difficult now because I'm so busy. It's very difficult to broadcast on Fridays, but Fridays is more conducive to adult beverages than it is on a Thursday. But gotta make do. Unfortunately, I gotta fit into the schedule here. So I'm sorry about that. It's very hard to come up with these videos. One of you actually suggested, an old friend of ours, actually suggested I go back to doing things like Periscope days, where I just talk, for a short time every day. But on Periscope, I talked for 2 hours every day for 2 hours. So we're not going to do that. So anyway, I wonder if the title is to get people. I wonder if the title is to get people attention. Which one? In a negative way or positive way? Blind man pepper spray. Yeah, explain that to me. Are you talking about the AI video? Mic gain is very high. Yes, I can see that. Okay, let me readjust again. Okay. Well, it's about the distance. So let me just lower it. Okay. Yeah. So it's the distance. That's I don't change it. It's the same every time I do a live stream. Nothing actually changes. It was just too close to my mouth. So, hey, I ran here. Hey, I am here to thank you for all you have. Thank you, Malik Vashau. Carry care. Okay, so glad to have you all back here. I could blame YouTube and say, oh, it's I'm being shadow banned and all this. And I told you that a couple weeks ago, my video was banned. As it turned out, it wasn't actually a ban. It was a bug, and everyone else who broadcast at the same time also got their videos, their live streams banned. So just about every live stream that occurred during that window of time, like many hours, starting at around the time that I started. So yeah, so I'm not, I could complain and say, yeah, my numbers are going down because I'm being shadow banned and all that. But I can't think like that. You gotta take what you can take and react to it. And on the other hand, there's value in just doing what I believe rather than worry about how it's performing on YouTube. And one of the things this is very interesting about the way YouTube works. If I come up with a new topic, in this case, the topic was about AI, and my existing subscribers are not familiar with me talking about AI because, they want me to talk about big tech, Google and Apple and Amazon and so on, and Facebook and what they're doing to you. And so I deviated and talked about AI, and there's actually a good reason for that. But when I did that, then the existing subscribers say, oh, this is not your normal topic, so I'm not interested in this because I subscribed to your channel for privacy. So since it's not directly about privacy, okay, we're not going to watch that. And 40% of the people didn't watch. So, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's understandable. The problem with the way the YouTube system works is if the initial subscribers, the original subscribers, don't watch a video, maybe because they already know the topic. The prior issue was the prior video was about location tracking in 2022, and many people said, "Oh, I already know this," so they didn't watch it. And even though it's extremely important, especially for newbies, to watch, and this is the problem with the way that YouTube works. If I come up with a different topic slightly away from what my existing subscribers are familiar with, YouTube does not share the video. They don't share the video. So the only people that see the video are the subscribers, and they said, oh, it's a bad performer, so we're not going to share it. This is not necessarily about shadow banning, it's just the way the YouTube algorithm works. And so it's very difficult for people to change topics. So, if, for example, if I try to broaden what I'm trying to do here, it doesn't work because the people say, well, we're not interested in that topic. And the initial subscribers then become the pivoting point for YouTube to decide, oh yeah, this video is getting high click-through rates, and therefore we're going to feed this to other people who are not subscribers. So when the videos are not watched, as has been true of the last four videos or so, what happens then is that YouTube does not share outside of my subscriber base, and the result of that, unfortunately, is that I get no new subscribers. So that's I don't know a way around this. So it's a very interesting fact, but sometimes I need to come up with a video to satisfy a certain subgroup. For example, the location video for 2022 was the first time I've actually compiled all of the location tracking on phones, about phones, in one video. That was the first time I've done that. Yes, pieces of that were in several other videos, but it's the first time it's actually in one reference point. So if somebody says, how can you be tracked on your phone? There's just one video now that you can refer to. You don't have to watch 5-6 videos, which some of them kind of got dated and things changed. And the last video was the most complete one. But because most of the subscribers said, oh, I've seen many of this before, so I'm not going to watch it. So they don't watch it, and which is fine, except my point was to make that for beginners. It was a beginner video, so it's for beginners who want to just get a quick overview. And so the problem with this is that it's just hard to come up with a topic that's new and expect to have it seen. So I'm not sure what the solution is. So the AI topic is actually very, very connected, and is very, very similar to all this. This is not the first time I've talked about AI. AI was talked about in many videos, at least in part. And I decided to say, well, let's get ourselves educated by a series of videos that actually gets deep into how it actually works, because there's some implications here, and I can't just go jump into the conclusion video without giving some background. And if you don't understand how AI works and some of the terminology like machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, if you don't understand that, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say is not going to make any sense. So it's a challenge. I have to tell you, it's a challenge. So because of the fact that the video was received so badly, then it kind of calls into question whether I can even do that, because this is kind of like, being driven by the algorithm a little bit. So it looks like the YouTube algorithm says, oh, don't make videos about AI, or at least not a video about AI specifically. And it's probably going to reflect today in the live stream as well. So the live stream numbers are going to be low too, because maybe you're not interested in AI because you don't think it has anything to do with privacy. So let's at least kind of, if I have to close the book on this, then at least I want to make sure that you're aware of what it actually means. So the AI problem, in fact, if you look at the AI situation, the players are the same big tech players that we've always concerned ourselves with regards to privacy. It's the exact same players. You got Google, Amazon, Apple. Apple's a little bit different here. They're taking a slightly different approach, but they're in there. Facebook, and of course Tesla. Now Tesla is not in the data collection business per se, but they're specifically about the operation of the car. So they're not really in this same category. I don't necessarily have too much negative things to say about Tesla, but the problem that we have is not understanding how the AI works and its effect on us. And I'm just going to give you some conclusions that you should really worry about. As I mentioned in the last live stream, Ray Kurzweil was the one who wrote the book, The Singularity, in the 70s. Singularity is the point where the AI, or the computer, is smarter than people. And he actually made a statement in recent times. I think the statement was in 2017 that he made this statement. He said that computers will be as smart as people by 2029, which is, we're in 2022. He's saying 7 years from now, computers will be as smart as people. And if you don't understand what this actually means, and you can, kind of like set it aside, say, that's not important, and you think it's not connected to my topic. But if you understand that, and you understand the danger of what I'm saying here, you'd want to learn more about this. So one of the things that is interesting, if you understand how machine learning actually works, and I was going to make a video about machine learning after I did the video on computer vision. I don't know if I'll do one anymore because it was so badly received. But let me just say this. Machine learning is incredibly powerful, especially combined with deep learning. Now, deep learning is the computer learning for itself. Now, what is it actually learning? What is the computer actually learning? The reality is, the computer is just looking for patterns. That's it, looking for patterns. And if you find some sort of pattern in any sequence of data, and you put a label to it, then the pattern program, it's called the neural network, will say, oh, so that is these kinds of things are very similar, and they're similar to within so much percent of probability. This is no different. A analogy to this is the way surveys are done. If you do any kind of survey, you use what is called regression analysis. So, in fact, I studied economics, and every kind of graph that you can imagine is made by observation of real life, and the real life observations are not a straight line; they're dotted all over the place in a line. Let's say that's a chart. The observations in reality are made of many points, and the accuracy of the prediction is based on probability. And It's the same thing with AI. AI is based on probability. So if the probability is high, the AI says, okay, there's so much degree of confidence that there's some connection between this many pieces of data points because there's some sort of pattern, and that's really all it is, pattern. The problem is that people found out, or scientists found out, that people also think in terms of a pattern, and we do it automatically. And they found out that computers think pretty much the same way with patterns. The thing is that a computer does not put any value or judgments on what the pattern is. It's just say, I can sense statistically that there's a pattern. We do that intuitively. A computer will actually compute and say there's 85% probability that this pattern has been seen before and it relates to X. And okay, so you say, oh, what's the big deal? The problem is anything can be a pattern, even opinions, even judgments, even morality, even any kind of thought, if even politics. Everything that we do can be a pattern. And therefore, if there's a pattern and there's some consistency that the computer can find, even though it's not valid, may not be valid, the computer will say there's a pattern and therefore make a judgment about it. Computer may find that there's different patterns of judgments when you're from Iran versus from China, from the US, or from Europe. Each one thinks differently. But the computer will determine that pattern. The computer will determine that there is some sort of connection. And sometimes we may have to think many steps before we actually even realize the pattern, whereas the computer can arrive at that pattern pretty much, as long as it's already learned it, pretty much immediately. And that is kind of a scary thought, because what is the limit? What kind of patterns, especially with human behavior, what kind of patterns can a computer not learn? What cannot be learned? Even morality can be approximated by a pattern. Morality can be approximated by a pattern. It can see, okay, who's doing crime and what is a crime and so on, and it can approximate a pattern. And the computer can also say, average everyday people do white lies. So although lying is not supposed to be a moral behavior, in reality, it's in real life, there's a pattern where white lies are often given or made, and same with politicians. Politicians lie all the time. So if the politicians lie, then the computer can detect the pattern and say, real people don't really follow what they're saying. I mean, the implications of this, because if a computer actually learns all this, how does it execute that? It's something to really wonder about, because once the computer gets this kind of information, the power will be immense. And unstoppable. Like the forecast, it could be smarter than people in theory. Now, people have a conscience, but a computer could approximate a conscience as well, because of a pattern. If you get enough people and you see what they're going to do, and if you get enough people and the computer learns the behavior and says, 98% of people will not kill, so it can make a judgment relating to that, and that could be a pattern. And then it could say, well, certain kinds of people will kill, and the computer learns that too. And so it's saying, okay, computers are observing humans, and humans are, they're basically some bad humans, and therefore is the computer going to make exceptions? I don't know the implications of this, but here's the problem, folks. Machine learning is unstoppable And I'm not sure what the limit is to machine learning. I don't know if there's a limit. Now, one of the things that is interesting is that pattern detection can be automated, and it's called deep learning. Deep learning, and maybe this will be the last time I'm going to talk about AI, but as a topic, because it's not popular. But let me just say this. If deep learning is used, deep learning actually is a case where the computer finds its own patterns and it finds its own labels for it by checking the results and saying, okay, I have some sort of simulated environment, and I can test the result of, varying what I do, and then based on that, the computer will self-learn, and based on that, it could theoretically then build its own smarts, and that's pretty scary. So anytime a computer is able to check the results on its own against actual results, it can self-learn, and it needs a lot of data to do that, but it's a question that we don't actually understand. What if a robot is taught to kill, be a soldier? And they're already doing that. They're building robots, for use in the military. And they have drones already that's making decisions about the targets. Israel has one of those. They fly in the sky, and it has a .22 caliber rifle for sniping use, and it searches the targets, and if it finds one from facial recognition, and then it alerts home base and says, I have the target in sight, and aim at it, and all you have to do is press the button, and the shot will be initiated. And that's the kind of AI we're at now. But in the future, what kind of automation, what kind of self control, self-management will occur with these robots, and we actually don't understand, and we're giving them all the data, and this is a very complex issue. And it's like eSpanish here says AI has no morals. Well, that's actually not correct. You can teach morality as a probability. So it could look like a machine has morals. It could look like that. It depends on what you teach it. So you teach a machine, and as long as there's enough examples of situations, you teach a machine, and the machine will make a judgment, again, based on probability. It doesn't really understand what it's doing. It's just saying, okay, I got a pattern, and I'm doing this, and it's you think the computer is smart. It's just really not. It's just operating like it's a machine. So we are not understanding the effects of this. We are not understanding of the implications of this related to the Skynet of the future, because it's actually looking real. This is going to happen. It may happen during my stint on YouTube. In a few years, we could actually be there. Google is, as very heavily involved with capturing all the data in the world and putting it into machine learning, and then on top of that, it's doing deep learning. So, what kind of knowledge base is it building right now? Right now, it's being used to judge what you're saying on the internet. So, just as an example of the use of AI is Jigsaw. So Jigsaw, of course, uses the words that you say, and you're saying, well, how does an AI actually understand your words? It actually doesn't understand your words. It doesn't. It has no idea what you're saying. But if you have a certain word sequence and a certain existence of certain words, a probability exists that it may be sarcastic, truthful, false. The computer is going to judge that if you give it enough samples. And that's being used then to judge us. The computer doesn't actually understand what you're saying at all. Somebody has to come up with a context and say, oh yeah, that is a sarcastic remark. Somebody has to read it and tell the computer with a label and say, okay, computer, learn that. Machine learn that. That's sarcastic. So now it's come to the point that Jigsaw, the Jigsaw division of Google, is able to actually understand that context. In fact, it's being used on YouTube. So when I post a video on YouTube, YouTube uses computer vision to see what the video is and actually frame by frame analyze if there's any content, if anything is in the video. Do I have a picture of a weapon? Do I have, do I have nudity in here? That kind of stuff is automatically figured out by the AI. Then it actually transcribes my words, and that's a transcription AI. So the computer vision AI, then the transcription AI, and then all the results of that is then passed to another AI, which is what's used by Jigsaw, to analyze what is being said and arrive at some sort of context. Some of you are like and say, "Oh, I'm gonna hide what I say by using leet speak or, some way to put your letters upside down or whatever." The computer can learn that. Anything that's done can be learned, just like people can react to you. A computer can learn it. Again, it doesn't need to understand what it is, as long as a human comes and says, "Oh, that's somebody's hiding something in that comment," and then the computer says, "Oh, what is being hidden?" And then somebody puts a label on it, and the computer learns. And that is the ultimate danger of all this, because we don't even understand what's happening here. We don't understand. We have no idea of the impending crisis here when machines themselves, robots, the Tesla's a robot. Tesla is a robot, and Tesla is a very, very limited case of a robot, because it's only judging the road. It's only judging driving things, and it's not trying to judge everything else. And even there, yes, it's failing at times. A Tesla is not perfect, because it hasn't faced all the situations yet. So as it faces more situations, the AI learns, and it's So anyway, so that's it's too bad that the video didn't do well, because then it won't let me progress on this topic, in its current form. But the audience speaks, and the audience says, well, the existing audience wasn't too impressed by it. Then of course, then I know that this topic will just be discussed kind of like in occasional videos where I can explain things, but just set that video aside, the computer vision one, because that's really important. It gives you kind of a foundation of how the computers think. And I was about to follow that up with machine learning, but looks like I'm not going to do that. And so I'll follow that up with. I won't be following it up with machine learning, but that's. Just take the summary I'm giving you right now, that machine learning is unstoppable. Implications of this is unstoppable. Yeah, I can talk about it in live streams, by the way. Live streams are not subject to the same rules as the special videos. So anyway, but it's unfortunate that the video didn't get the views, so I guess I can't focus on that. Anyway, let me just end this portion of the broadcast, and we'll go into the Q&A section and talk about my sponsor, which is Linode. Linode.com/Rob Braxman. If you use that, you get a $200 credit on Linode. And as you know, I've been really talking up Linode. Linode is my main cloud provider, and has been a sponsor of this channel for a couple of years. And they've been bought out by Akamai, so it's now Akamai, but nothing's changed. Linode has still kept up with the lowest price, the best tech support that I've seen, and I'm just impressed with the way they run things, and the same people apparently are still running it. So I've nothing but good things to say. If you're looking for cloud services and you want to find a good player that is not overpricing you and is going to give you service, then check out Linode. Okay. Any caveats to Linode's privacy policy and TOS? Just so you know, and this is true of all cloud service providers, they're subject to KYC, know your customer laws. So they can't have a hacker, for example, rent a server and then not identify himself or herself. This is very common in cloud services, and it's part of the law. So I don't really try to hide from a cloud service provider. I understand what their limitations are. So some of you are like saying, "Oh, I'm not going to use a real credit card. I'm going to do prepaid and this and that," and it raises the red flags because they need KYC, know your customer. So anyway, you kind of have to. It's like dealing with your bank. There's certain things you can't do with your bank. Okay, question segment starts now. Yes, Great Goal is correct. Okay, did you post a link here on... Okay, what... Let me start looking at your comments here. What do you deem the greater threat, AI and its capabilities, or the human's minds controlling the AI and developing the algorithms? And that's very connected. The problem is you can train the AI to do anything. Whatever you train it, the creator makes the judgment. For example, you can train morality to a robot or machine. You can train morality. So just to give you an example, if you train the AI to be woke, then obviously it's gonna make its judgments based on what's woke. So if you train the AI in a completely different way, obviously today it's going to be woke, because that's all the big tech companies that are doing the AI are woke companies. But let's just say that some other company, maybe it's China's AI, and they have a completely different morality, and they have a completely different set of rules. For example, in the Communist Party, to them it's all about the group. There's no individualism. Individuals are not tolerated in China. So everything is just for the common good. So it doesn't matter that you have your own particular independent views that are individualistic. In a Chinese AI, they might say, no, that doesn't matter. So the morality will be based on group speak and group decisions. It will always be like, okay, well, is it best for the group? So it'll be a kind of a tainted kind of morality. The problem is you can train the AI to do anything. And if the AI is being trained by the companies that you trust, then presumably, then the results will be trusted. If the AI is being trained by companies you don't trust, then you're zucked. You're zucked. And what is the connection with privacy? Well, the problem is the AI is knowing things about you. It's very specific. The RoboCop is going to watch you in the corner and say, oh, that's Rob, and he's doing YouTube, and I don't like what he says. And the AI is going to make a judgment of that. I'm going to give him trouble. Why? Because it's good for the community. It's good for, whatever. You could train an AI to do that. And that's the problem, is whoever trains the AI is the one that's responsible for the judgments of that AI. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. DuckDuckGo no longer considered privacy search. Yeah. By the way, some of you are, as you know, DuckDuckGo is the default browser on my Google phones, Lineage OS, Brax OS, and so on. The problem, thank you, commenter. The problem has to do with the F-Droid version. Currently, the only F-Droid version of a browser that we can use is DuckDuckGo, because it's when a browser is from F-Droid, it's open source and it's compiled by F-Droid. There's currently no browser like that. For example, if you install Brave, you have to get it from the Google Play Store. It's not F-Droid. Therefore, there's still a benefit to the DuckDuckGo browser in F-Droid, in theory, because it's open source. Now, somebody said that the DuckDuckGo browser has Microsoft trackers. So this is something you will have heard. Now, I got to research that. I don't know if it has trackers or not, because if it does, then what did the F-Droid people do? Why didn't they stop that? Since they can stop it, they have the source code. F-Droid has the source code. They would have eliminated that. However, this is a different topic that is going to be in another video. Please, please, please do not be obsessed with trackers. Don't be obsessed with trackers. I don't care about trackers. I think I've said that many times. I do not care about trackers. Why do I not care about trackers? Well, just, we'll make the video. The point is you cannot stop trackers. There'll be trackers everywhere. So let them track. Now, that's the part that you manipulate, what they track. Let them track. You got to be smart, though, with what you let them track. And that'll be the video. Okay? But in general, though, if you have a Google phone, I'll just make this general statement. If you have a Google phone, stop worrying about ducking trackers. If you don't have a Google phone, I understand. You should be concerned. If you have a Google phone or a Brax 2 phone, do not be concerned about trackers. Just ignore it. Move on with life. Okay? Do not care about trackers if you have a Google phone. Okay? So we'll explain that in a video in the future so we get the details about that. But just so you understand what I'm saying here. Just a black and white instruction. If you already have the Google phones, don't worry about it. Don't be obsessed like those people on overselling their OS, thinking that somehow you have to worry about this and that tracker. They're not understanding the problem. Do not care about trackers. If you don't have a Google phone, you need a Google phone. I mean, clearly. But once you have a Google phone, you don't really have to worry about any of that. Isn't that nice to know? I'm going to tell you right now. If you have a Google phone, and of course, we have the Brax OS, which is on Amazon. Where is it? I can't even get my phone out. So this is my Brax OS, which is on Amazon. And if you have a Google phone, you have nothing to worry about. You don't even need to care about what apps you install or not install. It doesn't even matter, because it's pretty hard to screw up a Google phone. It is very hard to screw it up. So people say, I need instructions. What do I do? What do I not do? Do whatever you want. Well, maybe not, don't put Facebook on it. Beyond that, I can't really give you too many limitations, because the limitations are in the phone itself. The phone doesn't let you install Google. So Google things won't run anyway. So there's nothing much I can say about that, because it's not going to run. Otherwise, if it runs, use it. If it runs, you can use it. That's it. There's no real limitation there. If it runs, you can use it. You don't have any special rules. You don't need to worry about anything. And, there's a lot of detail explaining why that is, but it's not important right now. I have many videos explaining that. The point is, If you have a de-Googled phone, there are no more rules to worry about. If you do not have a de-Googled phone or Brax OS phone, you're zucked. You're zucked. I don't know way around it. There is no way around a Apple iPhone or a Google Android or Samsung Android or whatever. A standard Googled Android and a standard iPhone are zucked. iPhones are the worst case. There's so much spyware in Apple. I don't know what the purpose is other than to spy for the government. I don't know what the purpose is. There is so much spyware in Apple's phones. It's just incredible. Okay? Again, many videos about that. Go watch the videos about what Apple has done to your phone. I had like a series of 4 videos about Apple. And, you know, I can't be like repeating it over and over. Go watch the videos. By the way, talking about zucked, maybe I need to make a zucked shirt again. But I do have, guys, I do have a merch store. The link is in the description in there. And the merch store has t-shirts that says de-Googled on it. And, you know, you can buy sweatshirts and t-shirts and so on. And if you want to support the channel, since I'm no longer getting subscribers. So I'm going to be starving soon. Looks like Google's going to make me starve soon because I'm not getting any new subscribers now. So, yeah. So since I'm going to be starving soon, your support will be appreciated. By the way, I realize that some of you do not subscribe to me for your privacy. Don't worry about not subscribing to me. If you want to help, what you can do is set up a separate Gmail just for that. You know, some Gmail that's completely unidentified without your real name, and use that to subscribe. And I told you use browser isolation. Put all of your Google, YouTube into one browser, which is Chrome, and don't put Google on any other browser. So that's on the computer side of things. On a phone, you need a de-Google phone. On a computer, do browser isolation. Between these two techniques, we don't really need to care about sucking trackers, okay? Because even if they track you, what the heck are they tracking? Okay, it doesn't matter. I get ads. I get ads depending on what I click on my non-Google browser. And so what? I mean, who do you think I am? Since it doesn't know who I am anyway, yeah, you have a short-term identifier that says, oh, I was looking for batteries, you know, like lithium batteries. So all the lithium battery ads come up. And I don't really care because it doesn't know who I am. Thank you, American Legend. Thank you. Thank you so much. So anyway, you know, it's appreciated if you actually do subscribe. I know many of you are going to New Pipe and Odyssey and so on. But you know, it's my fault. I'm encouraging you to do that, and then people leave my channel in droves, but they still watch the videos. So, and some of you are thinking that you know everything already, so you don't need to watch the videos, and I understand that too. In which case, then you know, that's why I was trying to diversify into educating you into the next level, teaching you about things so you understand better what you're facing with, what we're facing here. But YouTube won't let me. So, yeah. So, since I can't change topic, you know, on a regular basis, I'll change topic every once in a while. Who cares if I lose viewers? That doesn't. Once in a while, I'll stick to the main topic for the majority of the case. You know, maybe 75% of the time, it'll stick to the usual expected topics, and then maybe once in a while we'll mix it up. And if I lose subscribers, yeah, it's the way it is. Now, it's funny thing is, funny thing is, there's a video about voice over IP. So many videos about that, Anthony. So you should just watch them. You should just watch them, so I don't have to keep repeating. Go to the phone section of the playlist, and there's many videos on SIM cards and voice over IP and all that. There's several videos on that. Is it bad to use free VPNs? Yeah, it's very. One called Honeypot VPN. You're being funny, Mad Cow. Do I smell burning popcorn? Evil Ama is back. How are you doing? Can't comment if they haven't subscribed today. No, the only ones who can comment have to subscribe before. I don't take commenters from people subscribing today. You have to be an existing subscriber. Is Microsoft Windows privacy respecting? Microsoft Windows is not privacy respecting. However, if you work with Windows extensively like I have over the years, you can actually turn off a lot of that. So, which is in many videos. So I have videos in that too. So watch my Windows 11 video, and you can turn off a lot of things that are not privacy respecting on Microsoft. So that's not a problem. It can be done. Now I use Linux mostly, but I still have to use Windows for video editing. But my main computer is running Pop OS. My problem with Pop OS is bugs. There are some bugs, and it's kind of irritating. But it's my daily driver, so I use Pop OS pretty much 99% of the time. So you miss those days, Evil Llama. There's nothing to miss. Kayvon has been fired from Twitter. So nothing to miss. Kayvon is gone. So not only is Periscope gone, but Kayvon is gone. Kayvon is the founder of Periscope. Is it possible to halt all this data gathering? Would that harm more than it helps? The reason I'm teaching you what I teach you is to halt data gathering for you. That's what this is about. If you halt data gathering for the AI, then of course the AI can't figure you into the equation. The less the AI knows, the less the AI can judge you and your children and your family. If you teach your family to guard their data, then you're actually protecting yourself from the AI of the future. This is a very important point. Some of you think, well, I'm 70. I'm 70. I don't need to care about privacy. I'm 70. I'm gonna, I don't have much to live, so I don't really care. Okay, philosophically, think about that. So, when you're 70, do you stop thinking about the environment and say, oh, I'm gonna burn things and create a lot of waste and so on, and throw trash in the ocean and not care about wastewater and all the things that are good for society just because you're old? Is that the way you think? Well, obviously, you live this world with some understanding of values, and if those values are important, you want to preserve those values for the rest of your life, as well as to your family that follow. Because your decisions today impact everybody else. If everyone today said, we don't care about privacy, and the people who are in their 70s are the first ones to say, we don't care, then why do you expect young people to care? We all need to care, because then the end result is that more people care from all walks of life and for all ages, then we can respond and we can actually find a way to beat the AI. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. As far as functionality, a Lineage OS and Brax OS, are both the Google phone, so they have the value. Brax OS is easier to use than Lineage OS because it's actually made for this specific phone. And the other thing is that a Brax OS can be reset, whereas a Lineage OS, if you reset it, you lose the apps. So for that reason alone, it's more convenient to have Brax OS. But you don't have to. We sell Lineage OS and Brax OS, and if you want some other operating system, we can do that too. We offer the service to install alternate operating systems on, let's say, Pixel 5. Not all phones, but the high-end ones we can do. You know, Pixel 6, we will install Calyx. Pixel 5, we install Lineage OS, but we can install something else. On the older OSs, we don't. We're going to keep to Lineage OS. Like, for example, Pixel 3, Pixel 3a, that's going to be just Lineage. But at the higher end phones, like a 4a 5G, Pixel 5, Pixel 6, the high-end ones, we can install alternate OSs, just so you know. I appreciate that, you know, $50. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely appreciated. I mean, like I said, you know, I'm being crushed by Google. I won't get any more subscribers. Actually, I'm being facetious here. The reality is this. Yes, my subscriber count is not growing because, you know, because my content apparently is not moving YouTube to share it outside of my subscriber base. See, again, to repeat the way the algorithm works. If you guys, existing subscribers, do not watch my videos in droves, my existing subscribers, then YouTube doesn't share the video outside of my subscriber base. It's a very funny thing. Now, they're not going to, let's say that the video may appeal to other people who have not seen it before versus, you know, my existing subscribers because you already know it. Like, for example, the last location video. YouTube is not going to share it to newbies. They're going to share it to my subscribers, and because my subscribers already know the topic, then they don't share it elsewhere. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place here. So, and you know what? It is what it is, and it doesn't really matter because the majority of you still support me and you buy my products, and business is fine. People are buying my phones and buying the products, so you know, I don't really have to be too concerned about it. I just want to reach more people. So, yeah, I don't really, you know, have any kind of serious concern. You know, but it's just the way it is. You know, the topics need to appeal to the majority of existing subscribers, or it doesn't get shared, and which can get repetitive because the existing subscribers only want one kind of content. So if I'm not talking about phones, then, you know, the existing subscribers say, oh, I don't need to watch that. Very interesting. So anyway, I don't want to go and Rumble. You know, why do I need to go and Rumble? What's in Rumble? Can't imagine it's going to be giving me any visibility. Do you have a Brax cloud service for backup of phone data? I don't currently have that. On the bright side, YouTube did recommend the Braxton to me. Yeah, initially, depending on the video. Like, you know, my most popular video was the Google phone one, which has like 1 million views. So, yeah. It pays you also. Who pays me? You mean Google? YouTube? Do you understand how little I get paid? You know, you get paid based on view count. My view counts are very low. So my income from views is very, very low. Rob has a playlist. Yes, so my playlists are broken down into categories now. So there's a category for beginners. So if you're a beginner and you want to learn about privacy, just go watch the beginner videos, and there's so many there. If you're more advanced and you want to understand more advanced concepts, there's an advanced concepts one. There's a what about phones specifically? So yeah, so I've rearranged the playlist to actually work based on, who, on a newbie coming in and wanting to learn something. So yeah, so it's organized to help you search for the problem yourself. Okay, you're still all pushing Rumble here. I don't know why. Can there be a port of BraxOS for OnePlus phone? No. BraxOS is programmed specifically for this CPU. So it's not going to work on any other CPU. So, yeah, it takes a lot of work to generalize it. I don't know if you realize it, but even Lineage OS, every Lineage OS for a specific phone model, there's a volunteer that programs it for that specific model. So Lineage OS for OnePlus 6, for example, is programmed by somebody who has the OnePlus 6. So we don't have that kind of, the Lineage OS community is big. There's a lot of people who do that. So, we only deal with one phone. So our devs only work on the Brax OS. Rumble is a, yeah. So what? So what? So what about Rumble? The question is Rumble going to give me visibility? If not, then what's the point? I don't know if you realize this, but on Odyssey, I have 76,000 subscribers on Odyssey, which is 1/4 of my YouTube subscriber base. That's a pretty big number. Not only that, I am number 7. I am a number 7 creator on Odyssey. I'm in the top 7. I mean, there aren't too many people above me on Odyssey. I mean, that's a pretty big achievement. So that's why, there's kind of continuity here that gives me viewership. So I appreciate that. So if you're watching on Odyssey, I don't put the live streams on Odyssey, but it's just too much work. But yeah, Odyssey is doing great for me. So I don't get much support from Odyssey, but it's from you guys, being supportive of what I do, and that's creating the viewership on Odyssey. Rumble doesn't censor. Well, Odyssey doesn't censor either. So what is Rumble going to do for me? Is it going to promote me? Is somebody on Rumble going to promote me? Otherwise, what's the point? Like I said, I am number 7 on Odyssey. So if you start on Rumble and there's no visibility, then nothing happens. You got to have visibility. So I don't know what the algorithm is for visibility. You have a question. Do you think someone will start a telecom company that values the user's privacy over the other telespy companies? When it comes to telecom companies, a lot of it is driven by laws. So carrier spying is built into the surveillance infrastructure, or the security infrastructure, the intelligence infrastructure of the U.S. So pretty much you're zucked. You're zucked. I don't think that's ever going to change, because telecommunications is the way intelligence is gathered in the U.S. So, yeah. So the solution is to skip the carrier and encrypt your way through the carrier, and one of the ways to do that is use a data-only SIM card. So you go through your carrier on data only and have that encrypted by using only encrypted apps and encrypted voice over IP, in which case then your carrier sees nothing. So it's up to you. You can do it. You can do it. It can be done. Doing a data-only plan is a solution. Data-only plan unlimited. I mean, you can go, even an expensive one like T-Mobile is $50 a month for unlimited data. And then you use a voice over IP plan and use both at the same time, and there you go. And then you don't have to worry about the carrier anymore because they can't see anything. As long as you don't text and call, there's nothing to see because they have very limited access to anything else. And then if you really want to kick it up a notch, then use a VPN. So the chances of a VPN being in cahoots with a telecom company is minuscule. So yes, data-only SIM card. Now it's not the solution for all, but if that's your concern, telecom privacy, then there's an answer today. There's an answer today. Now, like I said, it's not necessary for all. Like for example, in my case, I use my text and calling extremely minimally because I don't give out my number. So there's very, very few instances where I even get a call, and most of them are nonsense. So there's not much to track me with on the phone side and texting side. I hardly even do texting myself. Mostly it's texting the appliance repair guy that's repairing my refrigerator, that kind of thing, and nothing important. Mostly it's 2FA. In 2FA, you get a code. That's it. I mean, doesn't identify any kind of information. I think they're recommending Rumble because the backup platform for those whom YouTube canceled. Well, I already have a backup successfully on Odyssey. So again, I talk about a backup. 1/4 of my subscribers on YouTube, the number of subscribers are on Odyssey. If you're not on Odyssey, please think about subscribing to me on Odyssey. There's a link in the description there. And just subscribe to me on Odyssey, and let's bring the numbers up even more. And that just is a security thing in case something happens to me. To be honest with you, I don't sense that YouTube actually wants to ban me in any kind of a way because my topics are certainly within the guidelines. They don't have any rule that says I can't talk badly about Google or YouTube. That is not in the rule. Out of courtesy, I don't talk negatively about YouTube, although I talk about what Google does because I have to. That's what the channel's all about. But I don't talk negatively about YouTube just out of courtesy. So I don't really have a fear that I'm going to be canceled here on YouTube. I mean, canceled. My definition of canceled, meaning censorship. I could be canceled for other reasons. So, yeah. Now remember, guys, for those in a canceling mood, just understand, I'm Asian. So, think about that. If you're going to cancel me, you want to cancel an Asian? Okay. Then that's bad news for you. Any familiarity would work for hire. I don't know what that means. I bet Rob knows some things that would blow our minds. I pretty much tell you what the big picture of what I know. Maybe you want to know specifics. I doubt that the Israeli drone uses a 22. Yes, it does use a 22, and the reason for that is you can do a sniper round with a 22 caliber from a drone, and it doesn't. It's accurate, as you know. 22 caliber is very accurate, and then you're pointing down. So it's because it's pointing down. It's the velocity is not an issue, and no, it's actually what they use. It's a 22. It's a 22. You're not going to go, you know, have a drone have a heavy gun like a, you know, well, you can't talk about that on YouTube, but just in general, you cannot have a lightweight drone use, you know, ammo that's heavy. It's got to be lightweight, and for its intended purpose, for the Israelis, it does the job. So they do use a 22. That was published somewhere. I can't talk about that, Mad Cow. You know, YouTube doesn't like talking about such topics. So the fact that you're discussing it will probably cause it to be demonetized. So, what do I think of Proton Mail, Proton VPN, etc., yada, yada, yada? I don't like them. I do not like them. I do not like them. So, yeah. So, next video. It's the next video. So, yeah. I would avoid, you know, anything Proton Mail. Seriously. I don't think it has any benefit whatsoever. If you want some benefits, think about eliminating email completely. It's the next video. It's the next video. The video is already done. So I don't recommend that you switch to Proton Mail. You know, I have Brax Mail, and you know, it's the best choice instead of, let's say, Gmail or Yahoo or Outlook, because we won't read your email messages and sell your data. But going to an email provider for encryption, no purpose. Don't do it. Waste of your energy and money. So what's the question mark for? Okay. RMS would be upset to hear that. I mean, you know, RMS is good and bad. You know, I don't necessarily believe what RMS believes. I mean, not everything. So, for example, you know, if I recall, RMS is a communist. So I'm not a communist. I'm a capitalist. So we don't agree on that. So I don't have to agree on everything here. But you mean he's very fond of Proton Mail? Well, I'm not. I am not. Proton Mail got mad at me because of my video and actually did response to me, defending themselves. I was like, doesn't matter to me. I mean, the fact is the fact. I don't see the benefit to Proton Mail. If I saw a benefit to Proton Mail, I would be using it. Why am I not using it? Jethro Fox is why are you laughing about RMS? Could you do a video on how the Great Firewall works? Why? That is a sign of lack of confidence in their product. So anyway, I don't. If you want to use Proton Mail or any of these, you know, there's other products. I feel the same about all of them, but the Proton Mail is the most popular one. I feel the same about all of them, so I'm not singling it out. I really don't have anything positive to say about any email encryption, any. And just watch the next video. What do you think about Monero? You know, you're not YouTube for whatever reason does not like any talk about crypto, but yet I saw a live stream with Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey talking about crypto. So I don't know what the rule is and why sometimes they allow it and sometimes they don't allow it. So personally, I stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum for financial reasons. The reason is as a store of value. Monero is not my preferred currency for store of value. Okay, so it's good transactionally, but I don't see it as a good source of value. So if you're going to do a Monero, then I'd have to convert it to something else like BTC. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say for at least for storing it, I would use BTC. Or Ethereum. I don't know what's going to happen with the Ethereum merge. So, different topic. Yeah, I know, but a lot of YouTube terminated many channels with crypto. So don't know what that's all about. I don't really understand. My email's working great. Thanks. Oh, MD. So MD. Many of you use Braxmail. So I created that product out of demand here because people were looking for a safe email solution. Instead of using Gmail or even setting up your own server with GoDaddy or whatever. So yeah, so we do have an email service, and many of you are subscribed to that, and we have the VPN service, and our VPN is superior to other VPNs because, for one thing, most companies don't know it's a VPN. That's what's so awesome about it. Nobody knows it's a VPN because there's so few of you that show up on it. Trying to save the dollar by killing its competition. MS OS firewall, is it safe enough? What are you firewalling? In a home environment, I can't imagine why you would need a firewall. Firewall is only important for outgoing. You don't need an incoming firewall in a home system because your router is already doing a NAT. The NAT is already a firewall-like operation. Since you can't access a computer through the NAT from the internet, you're basically operating like you have a firewall. So firewalls are only important outgoing. And for that, I recommend some other products like Glasswire as an example. That's one I use. And you can use that too. They've been telling us IPv6 is coming for 22 years now. Thank you, Gus Jones. Yes, I host an XMPP server for free. It's xmpp.brax.live. It's just a service to the community. It is free. It's a cost to me, but you can use it. And XMPP is actually much safer than many of the platforms you use currently, including Signal, because it doesn't have any phone numbers or any other identifiers. So XMPP, no metadata, end-to-end encryption, and it's a open source public protocol that is very, very popular, and I'm using an open source software running on my server. And you can even make your own XMPP server if you're so inclined. So XMPP is highly recommended as an alternative, especially for people with companies. If you want to do company communications, why do anything else like email? Why do that? If you can control what people in a company use, you should all use XMPP. So Jan Hodges, I use Braxmail, which is one of my products. Braxmail. And by the way, these, if you support me with these products, help this channel. So I got the VPN, I got Brax Mail, I do de-googling services. If you send us a phone that we support, we can install the OS for you. So, for example, if you have a Pixel, we can install Lineage OS on it. And then we have the Brax phone too, which is our own phone. And this is now on Amazon, or you can buy it directly from me. And if you're in a different country, you can actually buy from Amazon.com, and they will export to your country. By the way, just an announcement here. There is someone from the EU. There's someone from the EU with an extra Brax phone. So if you're in the EU, he will sell you his Brax phone. And I told him I would do that since we had a shipping problem, and I shipped him two. So he has a unused second Brax phone, and he will sell it to you without having to worry about much shipping and duties and all that, because he's going to do it from the EU. So EU to EU. So if you're in the EU and you want a Brax phone and you want to get a special discount, I will contact me on BraxMe, and I'll give you the gentleman's name, and you can contact him, and he will send you his extra Brax 2 phone. He already paid the duties on it. Where is he located? He's located in Germany, but he will obviously send it to any EU country. Okay, so any update on Brax 2 parts or Brax 2 USA version? Yes, I have Brax 2 screens, replacement screens. So I have that, but I need instructions on how to install it. So I don't have that instruction yet. So once we have the instruction how to do it, we can replace screens. So what else here? I wouldn't trust that unless Rob examined it. Which one? It's hard to be totally private because of crypto and discussion channels. It's okay, not Louis F. It's okay to be on the internet. It's okay to be discussing things. Just don't put out your identity. Who cares if you're talking about it if nobody knows who you are? Call yourself Ghost of GG. Call yourself Mad Cow. Call yourself David. Okay? Or Mysticulous. Call yourself whatever, as long as people don't know who that is. Who cares that you're somewhere? And who cares if the trackers are tracking? Who the heck cares that they're tracking a Mad Cow? Who's Mad Cow? You understand? We don't deal with that kind of problem. That's a waste of energy. Okay? You can shortcut and eliminate these and not be afraid, as long as you've already solved the other problem, which is your identity. And the way to solve that is by having the Google phone on the phone side and using browser isolation on the computer side. Then you're done. No more worry about trackers. Okay? You don't worry about trackers if you do this. Now, if you do not have a Google phone, you're zocked. There's nothing you can do. Let me just be frank and be clear here. If you do not have a Google phone, some of you still do not have a Google phone. I know, because, I have 363,000 subscribers here on YouTube, 76,000 on Odyssey, and I certainly did not sell 363,000 phones. I wish I did. But obviously, the majority of you are still on your Apple iPhones and your Google Androids because you love them, And there is no answer for you. You are going to be tracked. You're going to lose privacy because the way it's done is through the phone. Unless you go de-Google, there's nothing I can do for you. Nothing. You can do browser isolation on a computer, and as long as you have a phone, they're going to track you. It's called cross-device tracking through the phone. Okay, just so we're clear. Browser isolation, what's that? There's a video on that. Why don't you watch the video, browser isolation? It's part of the beginner video playlist. Are any phones ever off? The Google phones are off. There you go, right there. The Google phones are off when they're off. iPhones are not off when they're off. Make your choices, guys. Make your choices. I don't de-Google any Samsungs. So if it's a Samsung, you're ducked. Sell it. Phones are never off. No. The Google phones are off. But iPhones are never off. iPhones are never off. Okay? So if you want your iPhones, then live with it. It's never off. It's always identifying you all the time. If that's what you want, that can't help you. You're never going to gain privacy. I mean, you know, many of you maybe don't need to watch my channel because you have a Google phone, which actually makes sense. Because if you have a Google phone, you stop worrying. You stop worrying. Okay? So, and don't put too much value in your phone. The phone isn't your life. So, you know, this is a really good solution. One of the reasons the Brax 2 phone is even such a good solution is it's so inexpensive. My goodness, for $399 on Amazon, including shipping, $399. Installation, we charge $130 for installing, for de-Googling a phone that we support, mostly Pixels. We need to send another 40 billion of you to, you understand paranoia? Are you think this is paranoia? I mean, if you think that I'm here to, you know, to raise fears that are not real, you got to be kidding me. There are technical reasons why these are tracking you, and I explain in so many videos. Watch those videos. I don't need to keep repeating that. The phones are tracking you because they want to track you, and it's part of the AI that they're building. So there's no way around it. They're building an AI. Now, here's the part that, you know, that I haven't talked about with AI, and that is Apple. What the heck is Apple building on the phone? They're putting the neural engine on the phone, meaning the machine learning is done over at Apple, but the rules are placed on the phone, so the phone is actually operating with a neural network. And that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. So that's putting the power of AI on your phone. Your life got better when you got banned from Facebook. Well, I left Facebook in 2012. So that's 10 years ago. And wow. Don't miss it. I do not miss it. So I've been the face of anti-Facebook for the last 10 years, and you know, and I had a daily show on Periscope for many years, where I was the anti-Zuck, and I invented the word "what the Zuck," which is on Urban Dictionary, and unfortunately, I'm not able to say much of that on YouTube because nobody watches it. So, did you already cover where to get data-only SIM cards? Data-only SIM cards are available everywhere. For example, you can go to T-Mobile and get a data-only SIM card. They sell that. They sell it for devices that are internet-only, like, for example, iPads. So when you buy an iPad that needs a SIM, they sell you a data-only SIM card. So it's very common. It's not necessarily listed on the main plan there, but you can get them. You can go to a store and get a data-only SIM card. The data-only SIM card from T-Mobile, for example, is $50, and that's expensive. Many of them are cheaper depending on your use, but the $50 was unlimited. So yeah, and you can buy international SIM cards that'll do roaming and are cheaper, but I don't know if they perform as well as a U.S. SIM card. I've not, I haven't had success with that. Some people were using, what's the name of that one? That I was talking about in another video. The data-only SIM company. I forgot the name now. Anyway, and I tried it. Somebody sent me one, and I was not getting service. So because I'm not getting service, then it can't be a good thing. Okay, we're running out of time here. It works on a regular phone. Yes. Okay. Yes. If you put a data-only SIM card, you just don't get a phone number and text running. They give you a phone number, but you're not. The phone doesn't work. The phone side doesn't work. Texting doesn't work. They block it at the cell company side. No, I did not recommend an iPad. I was saying that they sell SIM cards for iPads, and that's the data-only SIM card. So it's very common, is what I'm saying. Okay, it's very common. So that's why I was referring to it. So if you have any kind of tablet, most of that requires some sort of SIM card. Data-only SIM is a setting, not a different SIM card. No. It's a plan, so you need a new plan. So are you saying that you can probably change? I don't know if they're going to take your existing SIM card and say, I'm going to change it to data only, but that's not even the point. Why would you attach it to the existing phone number? Get a different SIM card. Therefore, it has a different IMEI. Get a different SIM card. There's no reason to convert an existing SIM card. Data only you can use. Don't use zucking WhatsApp. That's nonsense. Yes, you can use Signal. You can use any Telegram, any of that. Not WhatsApp. Don't ever use that. Someone catches specific chat text out of context, which is a problem when you're not keeping up with the chat. What do you think of email company? I talked. The company Secure did talk to me. Again, I have nothing to recommend to you on the email encryption side. Just don't. That's what I'm telling you. Don't. Signal is good and bad. Signal is good and bad. XMPP is good and good. Okay, so there's a difference. Signal is good and bad. Telegram is good and bad. XMPP is good and good. Okay, so anything that asks for your phone number is not completely good. Okay. Yeah, obviously, if you do social media on Telegram, then obviously there's nothing to encrypt. Why would you encrypt a group conversation in a public discussion group? Obviously, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, so Telegram is obviously not encrypted there because that's social media side of it. However, for one-on-one conversations, it's fine. It has the same problem with Signal, the phone number. You have a new puppy, great. XMPP protocol, which I discuss in my messaging app. Thank you, Ghost of GG. Okay, so we're out of time now, and so Anyway, I would appreciate some input on what you think I should be discussing, since YouTube is plainly telling me that you guys don't like me to switch topics. If I change topics and talk about AI, then YouTube doesn't like it, and you don't like it as a group. Some of you like it, some of you don't. But you are voting with your clicks. So if you change your mind, you can go watch that video on AI and see if it's worth doing that. If not, then I won't do it anymore. You know, we we can only do what we can do. Okay, thank you very much, guys. And I will see you later. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Bye-bye.